Hey Hogs, this is going to be a quick video because it's something we haven't had a chance to talk about yet, but I just want to take some time to talk about it here because of our offensive practice, and I want to talk about double team scenarios and what we do in each scenario. Before I get to that, for all of our run plays, we are responsible for a gap. Okay, let's pretend that we're running power, counter, trap, kick to the left, one of those plays. Okay. Um, and we are responsible for our backside gap. Okay. The first part of our progression is gap. Okay. Gap. And if there's someone in our gap, that's the first part of our progression, and we have to block the guy in our gap. When in doubt, block your gap. Now, if there's no one in your gap, like here in this scenario, there's no one in his gap, there's no one in his gap, they go to on. Okay. Since your gap is free, you are now going to help double team until something threatens your gap or something comes into your gap, if that makes sense. Okay. Since there's nothing threatening your gap, you're going to help double team until something comes into your gap. If that's either this guy slanting or if you're double teaming and this push block knocks the guy over into your gap, then he's the guy in your gap and you're down blocking him. Or if a linebacker shows up in your gap and then you come off and you block. Okay. But you're always responsible for your gap. When in doubt, when things get crazy, step to your gap and take whoever comes. Okay. So we had situations in practice today where a linebacker stepped up into somebody's gap and we did not block down into our gap. We still double teamed. Okay. And then this guy came free because we were not blocking our gap. And this could be anybody. This could be a center. This could be a guard. This could be a tackle. This could be a tight end. This could be anyone. Okay. We have to block our gap. Okay. If we have a double team called, this could be a cage, a tag, a TED, whatever, and a linebacker steps up or someone stunts or moves into your gap, the double team is off and you make a down, down, down call. Okay, where now both guys are blocking their gap and they're taking whoever comes there because you don't know, they might loop. They might do something like this where he goes there and the linebacker loops across. It doesn't matter. We step to our gap and we take whoever comes. We're on train tracks together here. Okay. I'm on this train track, you're on this train track, and we take the guy that threatens our gap. Okay. Now, like I said, if at during the snap of the ball, if there is no one threatening our gap, then we can double team. Okay. And when we double team, the goal of the double team is to throw this guy into somebody's gap. So then he can block that guy, and then the other guy can work up to the linebacker. That's what we're trying to do on double teams is declare this guy into a gap because we're all gap accountable. That's what we want to try to do. Okay. So the first scenario is what if a linebacker walks up on the line of scrimmage like he's blitzing? We need to make a down, down, down call, and the double team is off, and we both block down, we both block our gap. Okay. The next scenario. Okay, this guy isn't going to stay here. More times than not, this guy is going to move and slant into a gap instead of just stay here head up. Okay, so we need to be prepared, both guys, for this guy to slant. Okay, in our minds, we're thinking this guy's not going to stay here. Okay, he's going to move somewhere. So the next scenario is what if this guy slants away from where the play is going. He's slanting away from the double team. Well, very easy. He did our job for us for the double team. Okay. That's why it's important on this base technique to take short, choppy steps. And if this guy slants into my gap, I need to down block him and wash him flat down the line of scrimmage. I cannot give up penetration because he's going to blow up any sort of puller that's in the backfield. I have to flatten him out. I have to anticipate him moving. The next, and so once he slants into this gap, it makes it an easy read for this other guy that hip disappears so he can stay on his track working up to the linebacker so he can you that linebacker out. Okay. The next scenario is that this guy slants into the double team. Okay. This is the hardest one for the double team because when we double team, we want to try to throw this guy over to this direction. Okay, but he's slanting against the grain. So this is where it gets very difficult. Okay, and we really need to work hard in trying to still get this guy over into the base blocks guy's gap away from the play. Okay, because the linebacker still dictates who's coming off. Okay. So we need to try the best we can to get that guy back over. This guy needs to throw him. This guy really needs to be down on the hip, punching hard. We need to have a nice tight double team together. We can't have loose hips because he's going to split us if we don't. And then eventually this guy's going to have to come off for the linebacker when that linebacker crosses his face. And hopefully this guy has control of him before that happens, before this guy has to come off and block the linebacker. Okay. So those are a couple of scenarios that we need to be prepared for. Linebacker steps up, okay, or someone stunts or into this gap. Okay, down, down, down. When in doubt, make a down call, block your gap. Okay, we don't have to double team. We can just block down and block our gap. We like double teams because it gets two guys on one, but we don't have to. We can always block our gap when we're in doubt if we don't know someone's coming. Okay, so that's first scenario. Second scenario, this guy slants away from the play, away from the double team. Very easy. As long as we flatten this guy out and don't give up penetration. Okay, for this guy, the hip disappears so he can work up to his linebacker right away. Okay, last scenario. This guy slants into the double team. That makes it difficult, but we have to make sure that we get square and we try our best to throw that guy over before we climb to the linebacker. Okay. So let's watch from film today where we can learn from this situation. So here, I believe we're running counter to the left. Okay. So tackle is responsible for his gap. Okay. The C gap, or sorry, the B gap. Guard is responsible for the A gap. The center is responsible for the A gap. Okay. He's kicking out. He's responsible B to C gap. Okay. We're all gap accountable. The tight end is responsible for the C gap here. Okay. Now, if there's no one threatening our gap, then we can make a double team call to get two guys on one. But if there is a guy threatening my gap, I have to make a down call. Okay. And we have to just step down and block our gap. Okay. And this doesn't happen in this situation here. So as we watch, our center stays here on the nose. He should be stepping down and down blocking this linebacker and flattening him out. Okay, he should be going right here and no one's blocking him. And if you think about it, guys, you guys are double teaming to this linebacker anyways. So we should really be alert to this because right now we're not working to any linebacker. This should turn into a down block and a down block right away. Okay. Um, sorry, this is Dart. Okay, so we just have a double team here. So he's blocking out. He's blocking out. We have a cage double team that should turn into a down. Okay, because you're responsible for Dart, play side on, backside double to the center. The center, you're responsible for this backside gap first. That's the first part of your progression. So you need to be blocking back, blocking your gap. Okay. When in doubt, block your gap. Okay, this next play here, it's the same thing. I think now we run counter. Okay, now we're running counter. All right, so we have a Ted double team right here. But this guy steps up into the tackle's gap. So we now need to make a down call because he's in the B gap and he needs to block down here. And we need to make sure we don't give up any penetration. We can't let these guys get into the backfield and blow up our pullers. Okay. But we don't do that, and our guard goes play side. That's not his gap responsibility. He should know that that's the tackle's responsibility. So he's still going to cage to the backside backer. Let's watch what happens. Okay. He steps play side when it should be the tackle blocking down. Block down, block down, block down. Look what happens if the guard blocks down. He would be on this linebacker right here, because the nose guard slants away. So if the guard did what he was supposed to do, that hip would disappear. He would be up on this linebacker. The tackle blocks down on this backer. The tight end blocks down on this back on the end. Okay. And everything should wash down. But what happens is that this linebacker comes free because we're not staying gap accountable. I think we fix it this next play here. So look, here's what it should look like correctly. Block the C gap, block the B gap, block the A gap, block the A gap, pull, and then pull as well. And we got to wheel and seal the backside. Okay, watch. Down, 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 down. We're all gap accountable here. Okay. We all have now created that wall. Okay. We've all created the wall. And now we're able to get into the hole there. That's what we need. Okay. So I've got the C gap, I've got the B, I've got the A, I've got the A, I've got the B gap right here. Okay. And that's how we create that wall. We create that wall right here. Okay. So that's the example that I'm trying to show you when they bring pressure. Um, and that is how we address it. When in doubt, block your gap. If there's a bunch of guys moving around and a bunch of crazy things happening, uh, when in doubt, block your gap. Make a down call. Okay, I want to talk about this play here as well. I believe this is the play. Yes, it is. Okay. When in doubt, block your gap. So here, I believe we're trying to run power right. Yeah, we're trying to run power to the right here. Okay. So we have a Ted double team here, but their linebacker is gone. He's a 5 technique. Okay. The linebacker that they're working to is down here. Okay. Against this look where they have 3 guys and 2 gaps, we just need to step down, block down. Okay. Block down and block our gaps here. Okay. Because look what happens if we block our gaps. Okay. If we step down and block here, he's taken care of. Okay. If our guard blocks down into his gap, he's not going out this way. He'd be down on the center. because no one blocks the center. Look, the center's coming scot-free. We need to step down and block our gap. If our tackle steps down and blocks his gap, he would be picking up this linebacker right here. We'd be there. The center would be there, and we'd have everything taken care of. Okay. When teams blitz on us when we're running the ball, we should be very excited because that means they don't have any players back here to flow. So if we block the line of scrimmage correctly, our running back is not going to get touched until he reaches a safety because they have no linebackers to flow. So when we see a linebacker step up to the line of scrimmage, we should get excited. Okay, knowing that if we block this up right and we don't give up penetration, we're going to have a really big play. So we got to make sure when they step up, we get excited and we're ready to take the stunt on because I just know that I'm going to block my gap. Okay. When in doubt, I'm just going to block my gap on my play, whatever my responsibility is, if it's backside or if it's play side, and I'm going to take the guy that's coming to it and we'll be in a good spot. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you guys.